man, and that again, that was one of my favorite times. One of my
Absolutely.
favorites, for sure.
Yeah, man. So it was the 50th anniversary of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? August 11th. It was 11th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, August 11th. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I was loving all of the recognition that it was getting. You know what I'm saying? Like it was places that I wouldn't even think that would acknowledge it was acknowledging the 50th anniversary, and it was well due. You know what I'm saying? Definitely deserved.
Yeah.
Hip hop completely changed the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you wanted to touch on something, right?
Yeah. I just want to know, like, when you think of hip hop in all the moments, like for you personally, what are you celebrating about it? And then as a whole, as a whole community or culture, what are we celebrating hip hop as it stands now?
Well, hip hop, yeah, man, it's always been around me my whole life, so it's like it's literally a part of me. You know what I'm saying? My father has been a DJ and a producer my whole life, so like he tell me stories. When I was a baby, he used to put headphones on me as a baby and just play music, play hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And then I used to like, I never lived with my father, but he lived in Charlotte my whole life. And I just used to love to visit my father because he always had the studio with the turntables and all of that. And from like 3 years old, I always wanted to scratch or whatever. Like he taught me how to put the vinyl on it and all of that. So like I always just was attracted to hip hop, you know what I'm saying, as a baby. Yeah. And then just from a historical standpoint, I've always been fascinated with hip hop's connection to Black music as a whole. You know what I'm saying? How the samples connect you to soul music, and then I would and that always attracted me because of my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather, he used to put me on to the Earth, Wind, and Fires and the Stylistics and Delphonics and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I would hear the music that my grandfather put me on to in the records, and like, so I always noticed that connection. You know what I'm saying? And I always studied the history of it. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, and that's just from a musical standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like from a historical standpoint, I'm in the history period. So when I look at hip hop, I look at hip hop like literally a part of Black culture, just like soul food or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's and hip hop is literally a derivative, like I said, of soul music, R&B, soul music, and it all is an extension of each other. You know what I'm saying? It started with the spirituals, you know what I'm saying, in slavery, and then that transformed to gospel, was transformed to blues, would transform into
country. We had country music.
Yeah, country as well. You know what I'm saying? Which was transformed into jazz. You know what I'm saying? And jazz turned into the, you know what I'm saying, the doo-wop and the Motown and all of that. And hip hop is literally an extension of all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I look at hip hop, I don't look at it as something different. I look at it all as together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a different form of music. Just like gospel is a different form than jazz, but it's all Black music. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at it, man. And
so you, when you say Black music, do you think we get to a point to where we actually take ownership of it now?
Well, I mean, it really depends on who we talking about, because some artists have taken ownership. You know what I'm saying? But as a whole, we absolutely don't own hip hop as a whole.
Do you think we'll get to a point to where we're majority owners? Yeah.
Honestly, man, I don't know, because I don't even think I don't even think it's a decent amount of us that even desire to own it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we living in an era now where people literally are selling their catalogs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's crazy. So that selling their catalogs, but if we could get to a point, that's crazy. So that's deep. That's deep because we are, and that's why I want to know, like, damn, where do you see hip hop or music moving toward in the future? And if we could get a hold on it, we wouldn't need to sell it because it's ours to own. But like you said, we selling it off. So where do you see hip hop and then music in general going the next 10, 20 years? What that might look like? Do you think it'll be any relevance? Because you've seen this year, even though it's the 50th, hip hop music ain't really charting no more.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's going to Afro beat. So where do you see hip hop, that form, going forward? Like, what do you see?
That's a very good question, man. I ain't even gonna lie. I was really thinking deep about this because first of all, you can't cheat the people. That's number one. It's the reason why hip hop got to the level it got is because of how it touched people's soul around the world. So if you putting out these labels, it's putting out music that's not touching people's soul, it's not going to do as well as in the past. You know what I'm saying? And because, like, for example, Biggie, Bad Boy, and Death Row really trailblazed hip hop as like real hip hop and pop. And let me tell you what I mean by that. It was always the MC Hammers. It was always the Vanilla Ice, you know what I'm saying, that would go diamond, you know what I'm saying? But no disrespect to MC Hammer, no disrespect. But that sound of music, you know what I'm saying, the Busta Loose and Baby Got Back, all of that, they used to sell a lot of records, right? But Pac, Snoop, Dre, and Biggie and Bad Boy, Puffy, Mace, those, in my opinion, was the first artists and labels that was putting out real hip hop that was going #1 on the pop charts. You know what I'm saying? You could look that up. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't too long ago. You feel me?
Nope.
So those are the artists, and that generation is the artists that broke in the door where it's like, yeah, nah, we #1 on the pop charts. You pay me this much. You know what I'm saying? Now we 5 million right now. You know what I'm saying? You can't pay me what you was paying the Cold Crush Brothers and what you was paying Rakim and all of that. Nah, you know what I'm saying? So now I feel like we at a point where hip hop is not producing that same quality of music, but they still living off of the doors that Jay and Nas and M and Big knocked down. The reason why hip hop people make so much money off of hip hop is because of them artists. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these newer artists that the labels are pushing, not new artists period, but the new artists that the labels are pushing, man, they're not really hitting the souls of the people.
I mean,
so people not and the other biggest thing is they're not putting out full bodies of work. All them artists that I named was putting out classic albums and took pride in it. You know what I'm saying? So people would be like, yeah, like Break Day next to hit Jay next album to hit Nas next album to hit Big. You know what I'm saying? People literally is just listening to the single and that's it on whole albums. You know what I'm saying? That's why the whole game right now. Yes, streaming has a lot to do with it, but it also has a lot to do with the fact that people are literally expecting that, oh, this not going to be, rappers not putting out classic albums no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even expected. If a rapper put out a classic album right now, it's like, oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying? Whereas back in the day, that was like, you better put out a classic album. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think all of that is affecting how hip hop is being received. and it's going to affect the money. It's already affecting the money. You know what I'm saying? The internet is, I think, what's keeping a lot of these artists afloat. The internet.
Really? But, yeah. True. Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if it wasn't for that, man, yeah, the record
I mean,
sales.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, so it sounds like, but it sounds like the frequency of the people is changing.
Absolutely.
So how do an artist connect with the frequency? Because it's so confusion right now. You know what I'm saying? The consumer still want this. The consumer still kind of taking on the nonsense you get, because a lot of artists don't got the artist development no more. So like you said, no soul in it. So the consumer, in one sense, kind of still want it, but on the other hand, the frequency needs to change. And I don't know. That's interesting. That's why I asked you, because I don't know.
Yeah, so man. I really don't know. It's a sad thing, because see, the other thing too, I feel the disconnection between all the elements of hip hop and just in rap. I feel like it's a disconnection between hip hop culture and rap music. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that also is playing a part in the downfall of hip hop. And it's sad to say, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say this, but just being honest, man, a lot of the younger artists, man, they are disconnected. A lot of the younger generation is disconnected to the culture of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
But that's crazy. So that's interesting. But the culture of hip, that's deep. That's deep. But because they are, but I don't fault them for it neither, because I don't fault them for it, because the hip hop culture helped plant that seed.
What you mean?
Right. So over the years, we know where hip hop derived from on a spiritual sense, but it planted so many seeds. Like when you said Biggie and Pop, that era was so pivotal on one sense because of the music, but then you said because of the labels in the world was pushing beef. So it was like the first World Star event going down with Pac and Biggie, and the world I need to see this fight. And so, but it took those artists to die, to go get killed for the genre to get pushed further to new heights. So when I say, you know, hip hop culture on one aspect planted that seed, because it let the deaf culture have a presence in it, and then over the time it became the biggest part of hip hop was deaf culture.
That's true.
And so now these dudes. So when I look in the community, these youngsters, man, they what these rappers was rapping about, and a lot of these rappers weren't really about this life, but this is what they was spitting on the mixtape era. The mixtape, the 2009 to 2012, those people who was listening to that, they had children. You know what I'm saying? So I'm listening to Gucci Mane and Young Scooter and stuff, and I'm having babies now, and now this is what. So I think that's interesting.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. And that's a very interesting point for sure. I think hip hop definitely needs to take accountability. You know what I'm saying? For Pac got a line. He say, and this was in '93. He said, "They say it ain't no hope for the youth, but the truth is it ain't no hope for the future." You know what I'm saying? That kind of go in line with what you saying. So I definitely agree with that, man. I would say, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, well, let's look at it from this standpoint. That's true what you're saying, but even with them artists, they still was putting out quality music, even with all that. It's still quality music though. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you. Art into it. You feel me?
No, I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? The quality was there. I'm there. That's what's missing now. So I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah, but the subject matter, you're absolutely right. And we definitely got to hold a lot of rappers accountable, but we also got to hold the movies that came out. when we was growing up. You know what I'm saying? The what's on TV. You know what I'm saying? All of that influence where we at right now. You know what I'm saying? Like absolutely.
I mean, I do see a way to where it'll come back. Like I'm just guessing. I don't know for sure. Like I see everybody selling off their music. It could get to a point to where hip hop tanks to where because when they sell off these catalogs, best believe it's going to 2 or 3 groups of people. At the end of the day,
you already know that. You already know that
people who own it. So I feel like maybe what if it plummets to the point to where they're ready to sell it, and then we come back. Let me get that off your hands. You know what I'm saying? And then we can get more stock back into it. But
you know what I was just thinking about? What if so you know how this whole thing is, we're talking about the downfall of hip hop, right? Let me ask you this. Where do you think the state of Black culture as a whole is right now? Not just hip hop.
I think definitely, man, the state of as a whole, we're critical. We're in critical condition, right? but I do know at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, because we don't die. We just don't. You can't get rid of us, you know what I'm saying? We can't get with the planet, right? So
facts.
Because we're in critical times, but it's gonna be light at the end of the tunnel. We just gotta endure. That's the part where it's gonna be hard on a lot of people. But right now, the culture, man, and we ain't see nothing yet. We critical, bro. Like we, bro.
We are.
You know what I'm saying?
No, we are. We are, and that's what inspired me to do what we doing, and inspired me to certain things that I have a passion for, is because now it's on us.
But I do see, but you're right. So the stuff we doing, we have to do. So I feel like the frequency has changed, though. So we do our part. It's a rise of us that's coming. We coming hard, and you gotta be willing to. Because even doing what we doing, we talking hip hop. We still putting our life on the line doing this. Don't even know it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you got to be willing to go in and really fight for a change. Because otherwise, man, they trying to make us go extinct, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Already know.
Our back against the wall. We gonna sink or swim. And I think we got a lot of people who want to swim, and we just got to do our part. And I do see the silver lining in that, because I know the frequency changing. That's why hip hop falling, but it has to. For the reset, everything had to fall. So what hip hop culture that we know it now, we can take the good principles out of it and take it with us for the next phase. But it has to crumble, because we got to restart it. We got to restart a new culture. You can name it whatever, but it has to be a new culture. We got to start with new principles, new morals, new vision. You know what I'm saying? New understanding. Like that old world got to go. So we got to fall first. We got to fall first.
Yes, sir. And I feel like the reason I asked you that question about Black culture, because I feel like when Black culture is corrected, it's going to be reflected in the music.
Man,
see what I'm saying?
And that's crazy, right? And you seeing the music is all over the world is putting out music, right? But we was traveling, I can't remember where I want to say Bahamas. And when I go to a place, I like to talk to the natives, and then so some of the the natives there were just telling us they see what's going on in the world, and especially in America, but they're waiting on the Black community in America to do something. So I feel like once we
this was, you said in Africa?
No, this was in, I want to say Bahamas. I think I was in Bahamas, but I was.
Oh, that's crazy that they even said that. That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, they were saying some. They would hit me with like what people would term conspiracy theories, right? You know what I'm saying? They was asking me certain questions. What do you think about? What you think about Gucci Mane? He a clone? And I'm like, damn, man. You know what I'm saying? It just caught me off guard. Like what? But that's where their mind and frequency was at. But they like, well, what are y'all waiting on in America? So it told me until they see, because if we could take down America, which is the biggest power or whatever, this is the big bad bully that the world is scared of. They waiting on us to make a move so they can follow suit for real. and the world is actually moving. Like Africa is making moves. They like,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
listen, keep y'all money. So we got to make a change here. And like you said, the culture has to die. And so when we come out the ashes with a new culture, oh, the world gonna love it because we the swag, we them.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Nah, absolutely. And it's wild because we still are the number one influence.
Yeah.
Even in our decline of true culture and our decline of quality. Let me say that. You know what I'm saying? Of what we putting out. People still all over the world still, you know what I'm saying, following us. But man, I honestly feel like man, I was just thinking about something. I lost my train of thought, man. But because it's deep what we talking about.
No, it is. It is. It's on so many levels, man. So you know.
Yeah. But man, but I mean, just go back to what I was saying. Like I just feel like once we correct Black culture, it's for that's what I was gonna say. It's our disconnection of history. It's our disconnection of our history. That's why it's going the way it's going. Because we living in a time where a lot of our generation and the generation after us, they're not embracing who came before us. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you can't really know who you are without doing that. Yeah. So we walking around not really knowing who we are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not really embracing who we are. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really feel the soul of who we are. You don't really see the soul of who we are. And I think that's the number one thing that needs to be corrected. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge and the history of who we are. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge itself as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Because God is the number one thing missing.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And I saw the decline when they took God out of schools.
They took him out of schools. Like, what?
They took God out of schools and start putting in all kind of crazy, the opposite of God. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Everything they put that's okay to go in there now, but they took God out. And I think that also was the start of the decline of what we see now. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
You remove God, anything bound to happen.